This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, can you hear me? Deva, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So we'll start in 2 minutes.
Sure, no
Let's wait
problem.
for other guys to join. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, this is already recording. Now I'm sharing my screen. All right. So, yeah. All right. So yesterday we spoke about some of the very important things about Splunk, right? So first of all, as I said, these initial sessions that we are doing are really important to understand the basics, right? Now, yesterday we have understood about the what are these Splunk components that you have. We will talk about it today, and basically what is Splunk and how Splunk works, and what are the other tools available in the market, how it is working, and all the things, very basic stuff as part of the first we saw yesterday. Today let's understand a little bit more about it. Now, if you see here, different products of Splunk, okay, different products of Splunk, we have like Splunk Lite, Splunk Cloud, Splunk Enterprise, Hunk, and the premium apps. Now, what are these things? Basically, see, Splunk Lite, all these are different products of Splunk. Okay, you have something called Splunk Cloud also. Okay, what we are learning, what we are going to work is the Splunk Enterprise, right? Splunk Lite is, it's an older version. Nobody is using this in the market these days because Splunk Lite is very, very older version. It's like you're using a, you know, older version of a mobile phone. It's like that. So nobody's using a Splunk Lite these days. And Splunk Cloud, yes, Splunk Cloud and Splunk Enterprise and Hunk are the remaining. Just they're just apps for your information. So don't have to get into more at the moment. But please understand, Splunk Cloud is also there along with Splunk Enterprise. Basically, it is all same. Okay, just interface is everything. Looks the same, just that whenever you have cloud technologies, maybe Azure or AWS or any Google Cloud, if in case you are using these, any one of these cloud technologies with Splunk at the moment, you may have to work on the Splunk Cloud. It is the same interface as Splunk Enterprise. Okay, just that based on your cloud technology, you will be taking that. So don't have to worry at the moment. It's all the same as Splunk Enterprise. Okay, these are the different products of Splunk here. Okay, now, okay, there are some apps. Okay, what are Splunk apps? Okay, basically in Splunk, okay, I will probably show you after some time. When you install Splunk, right, in your machine using Linux, right? So just let me okay, let me show you this one. We will also install Splunk using Windows. There are two methods basically. One is using Windows, second would be using Linux. Okay, so all right, So this is the interface sort of thing that you can see when you log into a Splunk. Here, something you see, apps. These are all the apps that you can see here. Okay, of course, the other find more apps, if you see on the left hand side, whatever you have are the inbuilt apps in Splunk. Okay, inbuilt apps in Splunk. So these apps, what they will do is basically different apps will be installed based on the requirement. Okay, so point here that I'm trying to tell is this is where you see all the apps on the left hand side. Okay, now why do you need these apps? What is the necessity of having these apps? We will understand as the sessions progress. Now, if you just click here, you will see more apps. These are the inbuilt apps in the Splunk trailed version. Now, let's say if you're working in real-time projects, also you see some of them in your Splunk, and at the same time, there could be some more apps you may have to install based on the client's requirement. It could be Azure or anything. You have Akamai, AKMAI. Akamai is one of the application, or DB Connect is also one of the application. You also have Sysmon. These kind of applications you have to install if in case it is needed. Apart from these, okay. Otherwise, these are the default apps that are available in Splunk. Okay. Now, if you ask me what is the use, why do I have these apps here? Okay, it is just interface. It doesn't mean that you have to work on all the apps. Okay, you don't have to worry about it, but just make sure you understand what is apps and why these apps are present here. Okay, so just this is where you see that. Now just to understand more here, what are Splunk apps basically? There you go. Minute. Yeah, designed to address a wide variety of use cases, and it extend to the power of Splunk. Collections of files containing data inputs, UI elements, and knowledge objects allows multiple workspaces for different use cases. Roles to coexist, single Splunk instance. 1,000+ ready-made apps available on splunkbase.com. Okay, this is basically splunkbase.com is one of the website within Splunk. We'll show you that. So these are about Splunk apps. This is about Splunk apps to understand. Okay, now this is what is important for us. This is where actually you have to work on Splunk components. Okay, so guys, here, see, if you're working in any of the project, okay, the very first question you will be asked in interviews is what is the current environment that you talk about your current environment. That means how many forwarders you have, how many indexers you have, how many search hits you have. You have to tell them, okay, what is your work using these components in your current project. Okay, that's the different, we will anyway talk about it towards the end, but these are really important components of Splunk because entire Splunk runs with these components. Okay, now Splunk is comprised of three main processing components. Okay, so basically we have 7 components, guys. These 3 are the processing components. Remaining 4 we can call it as management components. Okay, so what are the what is processing components? What are management components? We will try and understand now. Okay, see, processing components majorly in Splunk, you have indexer, search head, forwarder, or you can say forwarder, indexer, search head. That's the general process that we follow. Now, looking at the image, looking at the picture out here, you should understand, which is forwarder, which is search head, and which is the indexer. You don't need to, write or understand, but looking at the image itself, you should be able to understand. Look at here, the forwarder, it's forwarding it. It's forwarding the data all the time. So that is why you see image like this. This is a forwarder. Now, indexer, it's something indexer is nothing but you will store the data. you will have data in the indexer. Okay, it's like you use bank to store money or something like that. So the indexer is used to store the data. Okay, whenever you talk about indexer, that means you have data in the indexer, it will be stored there. Now search it. See here, you are searching the data, you are searching the data in indexer. Okay, because you have data in the indexer, so there's no point. See, if you have anything you're storing for your use, there could be some use, right? Maybe you buy something if you're saving money or something like that. So similarly, since we have data in our indexer, there should be a result, there should be some use of it, right? So we are searching the data using search head to create alerts, the reports, dashboards, visualizations, anything like that. Okay, this is the basic necessity, basic thing we are saving the we are storing the data in indexer. Okay, so now forwarders, indexer, searcher. Three main processing components of Splunk are forwarder, indexer, search head. Okay, so forwarders are used to forward or receive the data from the client machines. Forwarders are used to forward or receive the data from the client machines. Now, search heads are used to search the data. Okay, and indexers used to index the data, that means to store the data. Indexers are used to store the data. So this is what it is. Okay, now how does Splunk work? Let's understand this before we talk about other components also that we have in Splunk, I said, right? So before you go into it, it's important to understand how actually Splunk works. See, just looking at the image also you can understand. Okay, always remember, forwarders, you have n number of forwarders. Why? Because like heavy forwarder, universal forwarder, this kind of forwarders you will have in your environment. So let's say, let's imagine I have these four are my forwarders: 1 2 3 4 5, basically. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, yeah, 5 forwarders I have. And uh, I am sending the data from all these forwarders to a indexer. Why? Because indexer is the place where I can store my data. Okay, so uh, from every forwarder, if you see here, from this forwarder I'm forwarding the data, from the second forwarder also I'm sending the data, third forwarder, and fourth, fifth similarly. Okay, so point here is I'm sending the data to indexer, and this is where my data is stored in the indexer. And then you have search head to search the data. You can search the data like this. Okay, with the search head, this is what it is. Okay, so this is how it works. This is the process that Splunk works. Forwarders will forward the data, data will be stored in the indexer. Whatever the data is stored in the indexer will be searched using search head to get the results from the data. When I say results, what kind of results? To create alerts, reports, dashboards, and visualizations, things like that you can create it. Okay, this is a just typical understanding about how Splunk works, the process of Splunk works. Okay, there you go. Okay, so these are the important things. As I was mentioning, it is important for us to understand before we get into actual stuff. Now, forget about Splunk, guys. Forget about Splunk at the moment. Just on an general situation, general scenario. Let's say you are working in one environment. Okay, there is a data, right? There is a data. There is what do you call particular workflow. Okay, irrespective of the any technology, any organization, any company it is. So there is a process that data follows, that we can call it as a data workflow. How it travels to how the data travels from one place to another place. Okay, that could be from forwarder to indexer, or that could be from one server to another server, that could be from one particular machine to another machine, whatever it could be. But how data travels, okay, what exactly the workflow, how it happens, we will try and understand here. Now see here, initially wherever you take the data, it is in the input phase. okay, because you're collecting the data, you're taking the inputs, right? So that is why we call it as a data input phase. Okay, after you have a data at the initial phase, that is the input phase, which we can call it as a data input phase. From there, data will be going to the next stage where parsing happens. Okay, where parsing happens. Now what is parsing? Anyone tell me what is parsing? Have you heard about this any time before? What is parsing in data? Kaiku or what is parsing? You guys have any idea? Driva, whatever you know, no problem. Any idea what is parsing? Can you guys hear me?
You hear me?
Hello? Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
can
I
you hear
can
me?
hear. Yeah.
Oh, it's just that um, data passing is just like
Mhm.
converting
Yeah, yeah.
data from one format to the other.
Right, right. That's correct. Yeah. So that is what it is. So parsing, and then whatever the data will be passed, go to indexer to index the data. This is where indexing happens. And then it'll go to a search head to search the data. Okay. It'll go to a search head to search this data. Okay. So this is what it is. Now in Splunk, right? Since we have three components: forwarder, indexer, search head, right? Now data input happens in the forwarder level. Okay, in the forwarder level, data input happens. Okay, remember, see here in the first phase, which is the data input, there is a forwarder, right? In the forwarder level, data input happens. Now parsing and indexing, parsing and indexing, these two happens in the indexer level, you should remember. Okay, in the forwarder level, only data inputs is will be happening basically, and then in the indexer phase you have parsing and indexing. These two activities happens here. And for search at, you can search the data. This is the, okay, this is a typical workflow as far as the data is concerned, and this is how it works. Okay, so please remember this. This is really important. All right, quickly, if you see here, Splunk component forwarders, Splunk enterprise in what is forwarders? Okay.
Quick question. So when does the output happen?
Mhm. Yeah,
When does the output happen?
your voice is not clear. I mean, I can't hear
Okay,
you
and
properly.
you spoke about the output, I mean input,
Hmm.
and then the passing phase, right? So when
Correct.
do we get the output?
Yeah, output happens once the results gets completed. For example, here inputs, you took the data, right? You indexing happens, searching. After searching, output will be happening, because depending on this, what are you searching for? Like if you want alerts, you can get the reports, alerts, that results you can get. That is where you can call it as output, the results basically, after you search it. Clear?
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Now, yeah, so we know forwarders are used to forward the data, right? So let's understand more about it. Like, for example, if you see here, Splunk Enterprise instances that consumes and send data to index require minimal resources and have a little impact on the performance. Typically reside on the machines where the data originates, primarily where data is supplied for indexing. Okay, this is how it is. Now there you go. From the server, any of the web server or any from forwarder, you're sending the data. Generally it's just an image. We the data transferring there, basically data going from the forwarders to the indexers. It is like this in the forwarders perspective. the forwarder standpoint, you can talk about this. Now the Splunk component indexer. Previously we saw forwarder. Now let's understand indexer. There you go. Processes machine data, storing the results in indexes as events, enabling fast search and analysis. Okay, so this is how it is. And as an indexer indexes the data, it creates a number of files originated in sets of directories by age, contains raw data, compressed and indexes points to the raw data. Okay, now, and similarly search head. What is search head? There you go. Search heads allows users to use search language to search the index. See, basically why we are using search head is to search the data to get the results, or to create dashboards, reports, alerts, anything like that. Okay, so allows users to use search language to search indexed data, distributes user search requests to the indexer, consolidates the results and extract field value pairs from the events to the user. Now, knowledge objects on the search heads can be created to extract additional fields and transform the data without changing the underlying indexed data. This is the theoretical understanding about indexer. All right, now there you go. These are the additional components I was talking about. In addition to the three main Splunk components, there are some more components. Okay, so what are they? There you go. Now our license master 5 is master license master cluster master, and 6 would be deployment server, 7 would be deployed. These are the 7 Splunk components. Okay, forwarder, indexer, search head. These are the main 3, and then rest 4. Another 4 you have: license master, cluster master, deployment server, and deployer. Okay, license master, cluster master, deployment server, and deployer. Now, what is this? Okay, so as you know, forwarders are used to forward or receive the data, and indexers are used to index the data, and search heads are used to search the data to get the results, right? Now, license master. What is license master? Basically, you should understand that Splunk is a licensing tool. Okay, generally you will be given a license. The license, if it expires, uh, you have to get it extended from your customer. Okay, so that is what the licensing basically works. So now in the license master, your license, if it is expired, you have to extend it. Okay, you have to extend it. Now, license master is basically used to uh, have the control on the daily data volume limit in any of the project, irrespective of any account, any project that you work. You will be given a certain limit to a license. Okay, maybe you could say 500 GB or 1000 GB, whatever, right? So with that, Okay, with that you need to, whatever the data, whatever the license you have given, you're not supposed to cross the license. In case if you cross your license, you would be under violation, license violation. Okay, if the license violations happens, you will not be able to do anything. Basically your search will be blocked. Okay, your search will be blocked. And you can only ingest the data, but you cannot search the data. Okay, you cannot search the data. So that is what license master. So to conclude, license master used to have the control on the daily data volume limit. Okay, and uh, if in case you cross your limit, your search will be blocked. You can't search the data, but you can still index the data. Okay, now the limit is always depending on your project, what is the limit that you have. Okay, that is, anyway, we will see everything in practically also, but I'm just telling you what is license master. Now the cluster master, basically in Splunk you have two types of clustering, guys. Remember that: search head clustering, indexer clustering. Okay, these two in cluster master. There are two types of clustering: search head clustering, indexer clustering. These two are different processes which we will talk about in future. So basically clustering is nothing but when you have the more data, when you have the high availability of data. Okay, high availability of data, clustering will be coming into picture. Okay, now here in Splunk, in the cluster master, within the clustering, you have two types of clustering. They are indexer clustering and search head clustering. Okay, indexer clustering and search head clustering. Now deployment server, what is deployment server? Deployment server is used, basically it's like it manages the Splunk components, I would say that, right? Now in case if you want to send any apps and configuration files, you can send it to the other Splunk components using deployment server, whereas deployer is used to send apps and configuration files to other search head members. Okay, in search head, within search head you have some search head members. Okay, so if you want to send apps and configuration files to those search head members, you can use deployer. Okay, you can use deployer, but using deployment server, you can send apps and configuration files to other Splunk components. Okay, so just have this handy, just remember these things. Maybe every day we will brief this. Okay, whenever we start, first 5 minutes, we will talk about these forwarders every day, so that, I mean, these components of Splunk every day. Please remember the number. Okay, total it should be 7: forwarder, indexer, search head, license master, cluster master, deployment server, and deployer. So remember this number as 7. So we will talk about these every day. We will spend 5 minutes of time to understand, to talk about this every day, so that you will remember it for a long time. All right, so these are about the Splunk components. As you see here again, see. Now how do you identify? As I said some time back, you can actually identify it looking at the image also, right? See here you can identify this is indexer, this is how the image looks like, and this is a search head where the image you can identify, and the forwarders looks like this, always forwarding the data. And similarly you can identify other Splunk components also. They are, there you go, here you have, this is a deployment server. Okay, deployment server is like this. This is the image of a deployment server. This is, I mean, this is defined by Splunk. Okay, so there's no specific reason why is it like this. This is just the image defined by Splunk to identify, that's it. Okay, deployment server is like this, and cluster master looks like this. Okay, image of a cluster master looks like this, and license master also looks, I mean, the same actually, as far as the image is concerned. Okay, deployer they have not given here, but anyway, you could identify that as well. So these are the basic Splunk components, all the Splunk components. Okay, now One more thing, default indexes. There is something called default indexes in Splunk. See, I have shown you some time back. I have opened Splunk, right? So here, there's something called search and reporting, which is, you know, one of the app, but you work on this very frequently. Okay. So here, normally you go to settings, you have indexes here, right? See, somewhere you have indexes. See, there you go. You have indexes, right? Click on this. Okay, see, this is a trailed version which I'm using. Already there are so many indexes, all these indexes called as default indexes in Splunk. Okay, so whenever, wherever in the world, in the globe, you can install Splunk, you see these indexes because these are the default indexes of Splunk. After a couple of days, I will ask you, I will show you how to install. And when you install Splunk using Linux in your machine, also you will see all these default apps. Okay, so there is an interview question: what are the default apps, default indexes of Splunk? You should remember that. Some, remember some names here. Maybe you can say audit is one of them, internal, introspection, you know, you have main, main. All these are the default indexes, so just remember the names, 4 or 5 default indexes. Okay, so point that I'm trying to make here, in Splunk there are some default indexes. You see these default indexes here. You go to settings, click on indexes. Okay, you see all these default indexes here. Okay. In case if you want to create index, you can create something new. Click here and you can create it. At the moment I'm not going to do it, we'll do it later. Okay, so apart from these, in case there is a requirement of creating any new index, you can do it like this. Okay, so this is what, these are the default indexes of Splunk. So some of the default indexes, you can remember the names, like you have audit, internal, introspection, or main, anything. Okay, there are so many, you can remember any one of them. Okay, so this is what default indexes of Splunk. Now it is also describes same here, default indexes of Splunk. You see, audit is one of them. Maybe it is not clear, but still, audit, internal, introspection, main. Okay, these are the default indexes of. You can remember the names of default indexes of Splunk, and you can talk about it. All right. So now, very important thing is roles and responsibilities. Okay, so guys, always remember in Splunk there are a couple of roles. You can say Splunk administrator, power user, and the, you know, developer or architect, whatever. Okay, end of the day it is all the same, to be honest with you. Organizations calls, you know, different roles based on the projects that they have, but it is all the same at the end of the day. Okay, now, okay, so Splunk admin, there are some roles and responsibilities. Let's say if you are working as a Splunk administrator in your project, okay, there are some different set of responsibilities that you'll be doing. And, you know, if you're a developer, you will be doing a different responsibilities you're taking, right? So this is how it is, what Splunk admin does and what are the responsibilities of a Splunk developer. We will try and understand this, you know, in the as the sessions progress. Okay, but not today. In the next session when we meet, we will talk about the we'll talk about this Splunk administrator roles and responsibilities. I will tell you in detail. Okay, if you are working as admin, what all the things you'll be doing. If you are working as a developer, what all the things you'll be doing. Okay, we will try and understand all that in the next session. All right, so yeah, that's all for today, guys. We'll stop here and we will catch up in the next session.